We're going to discuss spiritual emotions, beginning with love and kindness that pours off of one 24 hours a day, and that you learn to hide, to step back from what's around you, and you can't always be there. So your emotions, if you're spiritual, are utterly controlled in a way the ordinary mindset could not conceive. Your biggest job, you'll find early on, is protecting God from the silliness and the vileness of this world. It's been said that our country could not work as intended unless they were a virtuous populace. In other words, people were of one accord spiritually. Everything we base in a religious sense of order and decency and kindness and working together. And when you have that, things do work together. When people are more considerate of one another in a spiritual sense. There are just two kinds of people in the world. They are a boy and girl. And boy meets girl and love begins. Oh, what a feeling we get from within. And from that, the family begins. You see what I'm saying? When you first look at the one you love, whoever it is, whenever, and it could be your puppy, there's a love that changes everything. And you know that's why you're born, to take care of, to honor, love, protect that which you love, that whom you love. And in a higher sense of order, you'll be an adoration of God. You'll be in love with God forever. And it's that same precious sense when you first meet. You're in awe. You can't look at your loved one's eyes. It's just so tender and humble. And this is not a weakness when it's involved with spirituality, with that which we call God. There is a God. And when you meet the one you love, you're meeting God. And that's just little reminders here in our own local hell system called the world, the earth, the material universe, which all of us who are mystical, spiritually inclined truly, we hide that from our friends and loved ones. We're as one. Emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, we are just so delicately attuned with an unimaginable regard and humility towards that person that we call God. God is a person. There is a sense of person. Man is made in the image and likeness of God. That's what we are and who we are, but the instant mindset of the worldly person is not spiritual. It's, oh, men and women, and we love each other. No, it means the inner sense of love. That's what love is. Again, whether it's with your puppy, your newborn, your mom, your friends, whatever it is. That sense of pure love, where you live for the other. It's transcendent of the everyday. It's a very commonly used word in spirituality, transcendence. You're transcendent of the sense of a body at a time and a place. There are no nouns no, in spirituality, in your consciousness. You're free of it all. You float free of time or circumstance. And all the horrors of this world that you have to hold in all the time and can't tell your friends and neighbors that you see what's going to come in their life unless they just, not a threat, unless they let go of the common language and thought stream. Let go into that sense of adoration and love and kindness toward our brother and sister, our God, our friend, our Savior. We are one presence of unimaginable humility. And that's the stepping stone, that's the doorway to infinite God, our friend, our brother, however we conceive it. It's a tenderness and a purity. But once we step in through that, then there is an infinite regard for God, but you will experience so much that cannot be explained in human terms whatsoever. Think of 10,000 times more than that first time you were hit with the thunderbolt of love for someone. That's infinitely less than the beginning of what we'll experience as spiritual presences. All this is being said to inform us of the fact that none of the problems of the earth exist to the spiritual person. We're aware of it, and most often the mystical person steps away from the world in some very private manner and really has no friend, no neighbor, not even family or loved one. It's such a pure state. And yet it's not further than our next breath. There is a God. You are God's offspring, God's friend, God's love. It's not the usual term of love. It's love-struck, infinite. Humility is powerful beyond all the nations of the world and the seeming material universe. It doesn't exist. All these terms disappear in the mystical union that you will have with Almighty, everlasting, infinite God, our friend, our Father, our self, and our soul. God is our soul. Point being said, I'm just trying to reaffirm the fact that you'll find in all spiritual teachings around the world that it's not this and not that. It's not the world. It's not the problems of the world. It's something very personal. And nothing weak about it. There's nothing sad or lonely about it. For the first time in your life, you won't be lonely. You won't be afraid. You won't be concerned. You won't be made less of or jeered at in the open marketplace. You don't have to hide anything. You'll never again have to be concerned. And what you have to do while you're still here, once you're illumined with the divine presence, you'll do with great tact and purity and efficiency. And you won't do more or less. You'll eat an awful lot for the friends around you that you can't quite help yet, when they're worthy of your time and concern. And when they're not, if you have to be in their presence, you'll handle it, you'll deal with it. You'll be very good at this thing called life. I have friends in every walk of life that have this mystical sense. And we just recognize each other, and there's nothing to do or say. It's just sweet. And sometimes we do or say things that are very sweet in a mystical sense. We're very powerful. I don't mean that in a simple everyday sense, sweet and nice. I mean sweet and nice. It's in a higher, loftier plane of being. The place where the soul resides, where God is, where humility and kindness are the call of the day. Again, humility and kindness extrapolated out to such a delicate sense. Like when you're around the newborn. My buddy Brian was one of these people, I forget the word for it, like the Stanford Hospital, he had this very empathic sense about him, so he was there with other people that would hold the premature babies. They could hold them for hours because they had this sense. There are people like that. I'm one, you're one, and we are together. With that, whose name should not be mentioned, but for today, God, our friend. God is our self. And to get back to that, while in the world, we have to give up every want and desire and fear and trepidation and need and everything to be there. And it's not difficult. It's not giving something up or fighting yourself. As soon as you're aware of the words being said right now, which is where we began, is all the structure of the world will fall from us. So we're not fighting it. We're not interested. We don't care. Of course, we'll have many gifts and powers that you'll understand that are very exacting tools emotionally and psychologically, and you'll be able to walk through the madness of the world a lot more lightly than our brothers and sisters, those whom we'll find worthy in the world to practice the presence with, to lift from the madness and the fear. Getting back to the beginning here, the world itself is the delusion. And all the mystical or truly spiritual texts of the whole world throughout time, and all the mystery religions, it's this sense that transcendent of the world is always there. They're the intelligence ones. They're informed. They're not low in the information or awareness quotient of reality. They understand all the garbage, all the armed rebels out there, whatever. It's when you step beyond it, you'll live beyond it, and you won't have to hang on a cross or lead your people across the desert. You'll simply open your arms and say, I'm ready. And you'll find that still small voice within you being the one who said, I am ready. Because it's a very humble and heart-rending experience to fall into the hands of our living God. We are mystical, divine presence. This world, it's difficult even to use the words, because when you're a spiritual person, the world doesn't exist to you. It does to everyone around you. And your whole life is trying not to tell people about the tragedy they're bumping into in the near future. If they don't, please just listen. Pray. Let go, let God. All these terms are not meant in a let go, let God, and the world still exists. The world does not exist to the spiritually adept, literally. That's why I'm going to such pains to explain how delicate and precious this atmosphere of infinite humility and kindness and decency is, where we meet God. Just two kinds of people in the world. They are a boy and girl. Boy meets girl and love begins. Oh, what a feeling we get from within. And that's how you rejoin with your own soul, through that kind of love and adoration. And then when you meet then your family and different loved ones you've known through the ages become your family or your friends. They try to incarnate in and around you. Incarnate means they give up their spirituality out of love for you to try to deconstruct the sense of there being a physical world. Because in the spirit, that sense of adoration is present always, but in such a beauteous, transcendent manner that there are no words, except, oh, what a feeling you'll get from within. God is preciousness, kindness, and God is literate. and friendly and decent and caring and warm and pure and true and intelligent. And aren't you? Aren't you a reflection or the actual presence? Aren't you that, not this? When I see my friends, my buddy Skip, and there's 100 other names I could mention very quickly that are just there in that place. When we see each other, there's no personal anything, it just is. Just an openness, a purity, a kindness, but it's, and we just laugh. So my buddy Ed Wilkinson started the Wilkinson School down here. We just like knew each other in Philadelphia, started the World Zen Center with Dr. Cho, and then Dr. Buxbazen, and he was one of us, and Colonel Bill Fisher's son and daughter, and we got a mountain and started the World Zen Center. And Lefkadi O'Hearn's grandson, he wrote the great novel, Japanese novel, love novel, 1910, I guess. Anyway, and so we knew each other in Philadelphia and didn't see each other, and all of a sudden, 50 years later, we bump into each other here in the West Coast. And just for minutes, and there's nothing to say or do, literally. Just smile and laugh because we're all living the same stupid life, trying to lift those around us. Aren't you one of them? I'm always there for you, for our Father. Just two kinds of people in the world. Again, the point being taken very palpably, I hope, is that the world doesn't exist to the mystic. Read the writings of any mystic, any spiritual religion, or any religious text where you're in that divine state, and you'll see that this isn't here, and that's how we overcome it, the ugliness, the cruelty. Nothing we think or feel about this world is real. Not that we're stupid and we're victims to anything, we get that and we look through everything. And we're part of this purity that's everywhere, that fills the air night and day, that is the air we breathe. We're not this, we're not that. In and of that, you'll have certain gifts and powers that will come to you around the clock. You're in touch with God forever. From here on in, you are there. Can't change this. And all the little instances of the world that try to trip you up will be recognized for what they are. This infinitely small dark force called Satan, the material world, it doesn't exist. It's something in consciousness. It's an aberration. There's an infinite universe that God is, that you are, that we are, that we're reminded of in love. Please seek it above all else, in all things and places and times and persons. It's the perfect gift. Just getting back to the basics of who and what you are. Experientially, emotionally, psychologically, we are a transcendent presence that we touch in the sense of love and adoration, and the world will disappear. It's not a big deal. It was the end of the world. The world is so stupid to every mystical, every spiritual person in the world. But they do the best they can to communicate to those around them when they can that their own mind is the problem. Quiet your mind, and you'll see Him, the only God. With a little more humility, you'll be that which God is. It's such a precious feeling. That's the beginning of falling back in love and adoration too with an unending, wondrous, beauteous universe that all the illumined experience. Ask those friends. We all have some in our life that's that way. We all have 2 or 3 people that are witch-like, or warlock, or whatever you call it, the dark beings that you know things come out at them and you're a little concerned about them. Get here in this place and your gifts and powers will quickly dispense with their rudeness and cruelty and viciousness. And they're one speck of dust in eternity, called the devil, Satan. These words, it doesn't mean anything. It's fear-based, the entire consciousness of the world. So if you can let go of that, to whatever different means you have or disciplines, you will see the light. You are that, not this. Thank you for listening. Thanks, friend.